Hey everyone, I'm Becky,
And I'm Sarah.
and we're doing Bickering book reviews. Today we are talking about More Than Maybe by Erin Hahn, which I got off of Edelweiss.
Same.
So this book is about two teens who love music. On one side you have Luke Greenlee, whose dad is a old punk rock star who had a couple big hits, and now he's kind of just been like a dad. And Luke and his twin brother do this podcast that's kind of made them semi-famous, more like just famous in Ann Arbor where they live. Then you have Veda, who works at the bar where they do the podcast. She loves music. She wants to go to school in California to study to be a music journalist, but she has some issues with her dad, who isn't willing to help pay for school, and it kind of sounds like he's not even like willing to help fill out like a FAFSA. So both Luke and Veda really love music, and they interact at the bar, and they're both kind of have crushes on each other, but they don't want to admit to it. And then Veda's taking this dance class at school, and Luke is taking a composition class, and he's assigned to write a piece of music for her dance final. And they interact, and they bond, and kind of feelings develop over their mutual love for music. And that's basically it. So I read this book a few days ago, and I'm having a hard time what to talk about because it really didn't leave that big of an impression.
I don't have any strong feelings. I guess there is some meat in the fact that they both have these great skills and talents, but neither wants to use them in a way that you would traditionally expect. For example, Veda's really good at dancing, but she's not going to be a professional dancer or pursue that in any kind of regimented way. And Luke is an awesome musician, but he doesn't ever want to perform and become a rock star like his dad. So I guess there's something like depth there, but I feel like we didn't get to know the characters well enough to really have feelings one way or another.
I feel like I knew Luke better than Veda, and I feel like Luke's storyline was stronger than Veda's. I'm more in, and maybe it's just because Veda's is something that we've seen over and over again, and Luke's felt a little bit more original. I feel like it took way too long for their relationship to go anywhere.
I can agree with that.
Um,
And the podcast idea between the two brothers was interesting, but the actual podcast, those bits, it was hard to imagine why they had such a following.
right, and the brother Cullen and his boyfriend, a book about them might have been more interesting.
Maybe.
They also, this book, they rely a lot on talking about bands, and some of the bands are kind of obscure. Some aren't. Some are pretty popular. I feel like if you're not into it, this book you're going to feel very alienated. I think a lot of average teens, particularly where middle America where we are going to pick up this book and be like, I don't know who any of these bands are. I don't understand. Because it almost feels like at times the characters are making fun of the people who don't know about the bands.
Yeah, I definitely think that you could develop a better connection with this book if you were as into music as the characters, but without that, you're really not developing that kind of connection with it.
Well, and it was very specific. Like I said, one of the most mainstream bands I think they talk about is Guster, and I don't think Guster ever hit really huge. I loved them. I had their albums in college. So I don't know, because I was reading it was and I'd be like, I don't know who they're talking about.
Well, and my thing is, the thing that I was thinking about as we're reading this book is really kind of irrelevant to the book, but it's set in 2020, and we all know that in 2020 there is the COVID crisis and the great pause, and things are closed and life doesn't look the same. And so my thinking is what are because these books are written years before that, and they're publication wise it's not going to line up with the timing, but how are those going to stand the test of time even in a month from now? You know what I mean? Because what you're describing is not our life anymore.
Well, that's true.
I'm just thinking about that, and I'm also thinking like 5 years from now, somebody's gonna read this book and they're gonna say, I mean, and this is true for any like realistic fiction, but they're gonna read this book and they're gonna say, it's set in 2020, but that's not what 2020 looked like. So the setting is wrong. But like, it's not because it was written beforehand. I don't
Right.
know. So that is what was going on in my head.
I know. But that's just like, that's like almost like a existential crisis. But that's the thing,
Yeah.
like the storyline we were given never grabbed me enough to be like sucked into it. And I feel like I don't have anything else to say. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I just want to describe my existential crisis that I've had recently.
Okay. So we should rate it. Our rating system starts at the top with 5 unicorns. We get on to 2 unicorns. If we don't like it, it is just a horse.
I feel like I want to give it 3 unicorns, but I feel like I have to give it 2 unicorns just because there isn't much to talk about. I mean, it'll get the job done if you're looking for a romance, but it's not gonna. It won't really stick with you as much.
See, I'm going with a 3 just because it was very middle of the road. Like I didn't dislike it, but I didn't like I didn't love it. Like I didn't want to ever put it
Yeah.
down. And I will admit I read it all on a plane. So it's possible if I had been able to wander away from it, I might not have gotten through it as quickly as I did. But that is where we are on maybe this time. No, that's not what it's called.
More than maybe.
More than maybe. We'll see you around. Bye.